this is the intro, cause I don't know how to make one yet. Seriously, that's going to be my intro. Hold on just 1 minute. 1 minute, I gotta finish this sentence. I'll be right with you, just 1 second. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This week, we're going to be talking about... Just one more second. Just one more second. I'll be right back. I promise. I've almost got him. I just got a couple more things I need to say. I'll be right back. For real this time. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This week, we're talking about arguing online. Now, I did try looking up some stuff about arguing online, seeing if there was any research that had been done on this particular topic, but unfortunately, what I found ended up being very inconclusive. There were a bunch of reports that said, oh, you like to argue online? It's okay to do it. It's healthy. It actually might help a little bit in terms of like keeping your brain working. So yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Then there were other reports that said stuff like, oh, you like to argue online? You're a sociopath. You're crazy. You should never do this. It's just wrong. And all of the bad things, that's what arguing online is. It's just all of the bad. So instead of going off of what any one or other particular research paper has said, I'm not going to do any of it. I'm just throwing any of the science that has been done out the window. This whole entire talk is just going to be me giving my opinion about what I think about arguing online. So now that we have our topic, let's be frank. Personally, the way I've always viewed online arguing is as though you've just signed up for a sport where your number one goal is to take a hammer and just hit yourself in the head with it as hard as you possibly can, right up until the point where you pass out. The thing about that sport and arguing online is it doesn't matter if you win. You're dumb just for being a part of it. So then the question is, if I think it's this dumb, why do I do it all the time? Well, I think it's important to point out that I think there's kind of two different realms of arguing online. And I think before we go any further, we should classify what those two different sections are. The first section is the one where you're talking to friends and people that you've actually met and that you know, people that you either have interacted with in your life or people that you are still currently interacting with in your real life. And these conversations are the ones where you're not actually being rude to each other, you're not name calling, all you're doing is actually talking about a specific topic. And you're bringing up arguments either for or against it, and you're going back and forth, and you're having a decent conversation. Then there's the other kind of online arguing, where you're not talking to people you know, and so you don't really care about their thoughts, feelings, opinions at all. This is usually where you end up with people who are just name-calling, who are just scrolling through somebody's feed trying to find something to be rude about instead of actually staying on the particular topic that you were supposed to be talking about to begin with. Now, granted, you can actually get to that point of just not actually arguing, more like ad hominem arguing with people that you actually know. I just feel like it's a lot less likely. When you actually know somebody, you tend to, at least from what I've seen, be a little bit more cordial. So yeah, those are the two different kinds of online arguing as far as I'm concerned. The one where you're staying on topic, and the one where you're just attacking an individual. Now, not too long ago, I said that I like to argue online and that I do it all the time. Well, I only go for the former. I try to stay away from, as far as possible away from, the latter in this particular case. I might put a comment on one of your posts hoping to have an engaging conversation about what it is that you've posted. In fact, for most of the people's posts that I do comment on now, I usually only do it if I think there's a chance of having a pretty good conversation come out of that particular comment. However, if I don't know if this is going to lead to an engaging conversation or not when I leave a comment, I might sometimes comment on somebody's post who I've never commented on before just to see how things go. In fact, I had that happen to me recently, and things did not turn out nearly as well as I would have hoped. It started out fine. We were going back and forth, a sort of point-counterpoint type of conversation where I was making good points, he was making good points, we were moving forward, we were engaged. It was pretty decent right up until he posted one comment that, these are the comments I love to see. It was this big, long comment. This is Facebook, so what's this, like a 500-word essay? Like if we're talking this much length, right? It's a big, long comment, and within the first 2 sentences, he said to me, and we're not going to be specific about topic here, so we're just going to go ahead and call it blank. If you think blank, you are a idiot. Now, like I've said, I will engage in a conversation where we're actually talking about a particular topic, but I will steer clear away from a conversation where you're essentially just mudslinging and calling somebody else names. As soon as it denigrates down to that point, I'm checking out. I'm done. I want nothing else to do with it. I did leave a comment in response, but my response was basically just, well, if you're gonna go ahead and start calling me names for opinions that I have, I'm pretty sure that I've just won this argument, and well, you have a lovely night. Hope everything goes well. Hey, maybe you can watch one of my cooking videos and like learn how to make a delicious dinner, eat something, fill up your tummy, maybe you'll feel better, I don't know, but I'm not gonna be a part of this anymore, so deuces. Back to the main point with arguing online. Early in this video, I did mention that I thought arguing online was like a sport with a hammer to your head. I want to clarify that I actually only think that about the name-calling type of arguing. In terms of having conversations with people online, I think it's important that we do have those talks. In our society, it's gotten to this weird point where having a conversation about politics or something that's heated face-to-face, it can end in, well, very poor situations. Having the buffer of the internet in between you can, at least in my opinion, be a very good thing. It can give you a couple of minutes to take in somebody's comment, cool down, don't respond in a harsh manner, and just come back with another decent argument. The conversations that you can engage in can actually be meaningful sometimes. In fact, every once in a while, something beautiful happens. And yes, I do think this is beautiful. When you're having a conversation with somebody, and then either you or them says something along the lines of, yeah, I think I can actually see where you're coming from now. Or maybe, you know, I think I finally understand your point. Even if the person who says that doesn't necessarily fully agree with your argument, if you can just show them the other side, if they can look at it and go, wow, okay, you know what? Maybe this isn't as black and white as I thought. Maybe there is some gray. Maybe I should look into this a little bit more. If you can just implant a seed of doubt into their heads, you've done a great thing. The reason I think this is because the times in life where you have your mind change are some of the most important times in your life. That's when you prove to yourself and to everyone around you that you are legitimately open-minded. You're open and willing to taking in new ideas, and that is so important that you always stay that way, that you're always willing to potentially take in something else and let it sort of change the way you go about life, or at least the way that you see things in life. So that's why I think having conversations online is completely okay. I think I've made it very clear against name-calling online. I think I've said that way too many times in this video. Probably way more than I should have, but I need to get the point across. If you're just going online and saying rude things to people, there's really no point to that. Like, you're not doing anything good. You're not benefiting society. Maybe it's time for you to put the phone down. However, if you're talking about something with somebody and you are just finding that you're both having decent points, I personally think that that's fine. And maybe you shouldn't do it all the time. I feel like sometimes I get sucked into my phone and I just end up staring at it for hours trying to, or maybe even days trying to have a conversation with somebody, trying to help change their mind or make them see something else, even though it's never going to happen. So everything in moderation, you know, don't give it your full life. Don't comment on every single post, but definitely, you know, don't be afraid to comment on something. Don't be afraid to potentially engage in a conversation, and most importantly, don't be afraid to have your mind changed. It is so important that you're willing to be open to new ideas. So at this point, I'd like to ask, what do you think? Do you tend to get into arguments online? If so, what is it that you like to argue about? I know for me, I will go in on a post about climate change. If you have an answer to any of these questions, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to click like if you enjoyed this video, and share if you want to spread a little bit of the love. With all that being said, I've been Frank, you've been lovely, and I can't wait to talk to you again.